Okay, so this is my old radio. Just a warm-up. Inside the box it's crystal radio, kind of like this one, but it's just probably 100 years old, or at least 6 years old. And it was sent to me by a guy in Breivik in Larvik, Norway. And I have never seen what's inside, only at the picture. So I'm going to open up everything and see if we can get some sound out to it. And this beautiful music you're hearing right now is live from Japan, from my antenna, which is just outside the window. It's a 20-meter antenna. It goes into this coil, and there's the diode and the amplifier and the speaker. So now it's time to cut it open and see. Okay, so we have some bubble wrap. Ooh. So the guy told me he found this in a loft, and it was homemade. That's all I know. Ooh, this is... what's this? Something very heavy. Oops. Oh, so this is headset. BBC. Wow. Superior. Made in England. Wow. This is probably at least 6 years old, could be up to 100 years old. And it's got cotton braiding, and it's probably sensitive enough to pick up the very faint signal from the crystal radio, because it's only being driven by the energy that is in the antenna itself. So in the end we have 2 connections. Yeah. Very cool. And then there is okay, what's this? Okay, so we have the capacitor. These 2 parts are not supposed to touch each other, so I'm not sure if this is ideal, because I can hear some jamming inside, but we'll see. So this is basically how you can tune and change the channel. Ooh. Some kind of knob. And the main unit. I think the guy got me a bonus. JBL Bluetooth amplifier thingy. So the main box. Wow, look at this coil. Definitely original. Some cotton. Looks like some kind of cotton around it. And this is the way you can tune it, because you can actually rotate this part and change the tuning from the other part. Okay. And the box. Springs. Let's. So the guy probably took like an Apple box and just chopped it down to make this box. You can see it's been cut from a bigger part. Okay, so here we have another capacitor. And it's got one connector here and maybe one. Anyway, let's see how this, if we can get this coil to work. I can't find any crystal in here. I mean, you gotta need that diode. Gonna need this part. You're gonna need the diode because you want the radio signal to go from. You start here, you have the carrier wave and the sound wave, and then you want to remove half. So with the diode, you remove half the signal. You end up with this, and then with a capacitor filter, you end up with just the audio signal. That's what we want. That's what we have to use the diode. So, well, let's see. Can start with the coil and try to use the variable capacitor. So I have now an antenna and a ground. Here's my ground. It goes to my electric cabinet, which is outside this room. And then we have the antenna, which is now 20 meters outside my window. So this is a very thin copper line, and it goes straight into a tree 20 meters out. So antenna, we have coil, and I can show the schematic here. So we have the coil, there's the variable capacitor, the diode, another capacitor, but we don't strictly need this. And then I will try with a headset and I will use an amplifier so you guys can hear. So let's see if we can find some, can maybe start very simple with this one. So if you can connect the ground to one end and try to find the other end. This is the other end. And then we can try to improve it a little bit by using this one in addition, and then it will be kind of a transformer. But let's just start first with the main coil here. So we got the coil here, so let's connect our ground. And that's our ground. So our antenna will be this end. And the capacitor. Probably here and maybe here, maybe here, we can try. So we get this one, and now we're gonna need the diode. This is OA English germanium diode, OA 81, I believe. Yeah, one of the good ones, and goes from the antenna output. Actually, we can also connect the diode from a tap, but now I'm just going to connect it in here. So from the yellow part to input on the diode, and now we have our output for the audio. You guys won't be hearing if this is gonna work, so maybe I'm just gonna go straight to my amplifier. So my amplifier is quite useful amplifier. Is the LM386 running on 4 volts right now, and the schematic for this one is a high gain setup. So you have a capacitor between leg 1 and 8, and you get quite a high gain. It could be up to 200 of a gain. You get your 10 kilo ohms potentiometer to change the input volume. So I got it here, I got the volume here, and we have the input, and connect it to the end of the diode, and the ground to ground. And let's crank it up. I mean, there's something here. It's a bit faint. Let me connect my ground. Yeah, there's something there. Is that Russian or Ukrainian or? It's so much different when I just move my hands. Okay. I'm tempted to try the other capacitor that's inside the box. Oops. So now we disconnected it and we still got something. Let's see if we can get it inside the box. And we have the other grounds. Okay. Well, I guess that's. We can at least confirm that this coil is working. The variable capacitor, I have to. Oops. I have to like investigate a bit more to see the right contact points, and yeah, it works pretty good. I'm not sure how to connect this properly. We got it's a bit like eroded, so and these are a bit like out of position. But yeah, no diode, no crystal, but a cool box. Even has some banana connectors here, and the history of this piece is quite interesting because it was probably used to listen to the radio from London during the Second World War, because radios were illegal in Norway because the Germans invaded Norway in April of 1940. You would get arrested if you had a radio, so people would build their own on and have them hidden on their loft. So yeah, maybe we can try. We should try to do the antenna. So let me just disconnect from here and make it a rebuild, and remove the box and try to. I'm going to try to use the antenna just here, and then this part is going to be the secondary coil. So I'll connect the antenna on one part, and this is going to be this one. So this is going to be the antenna, this is the small one, and this is the large coil. So got antenna, and we have the ground. Goes to here. So that's our input. Now we have our output to the diode. And now we're supposed to be able to tune it a little bit with rotating this one. Yeah. Yeah, it changes. I never tried this thing before. Ukraine. This is probably Radio Ukraine, because I have gotten this station before. That's fun. Oh. And then I can actually be the capacitor on this thing, so I can just touch. And I change the stations. Okay, well, the conclusion is so far capacitors. Need to look a little bit more into those. Box is pretty cool, nice history, and this coil is pretty good. Nice. Okay, guys, thank you. No, Paulo Escobar, have you experienced making a coil? Yeah, so the coil I normally make is this one, this type. So you have about 20 turns on the primary, and you have about 80 on the secondary, and then you can take some sandpaper and remove the top isolation, and you can switch the channels by choosing where you have your outputs to your diode. So you can have your diode from here and change the stations very effectively. So yeah, but this was probably made, during the war or even before the war. So this is a paper, all paper coil, and some kind of chop up wood in here. Now we have London. This is BBC World Service, I think, because it's always football on that channel. Okay. Yeah, Paolo, yeah. I mean, you need a good diode, a good germanium diode, and you need some kind of amplifier, or if you have a very good antenna, you can do without the amplifier. The coil is very easy to make, and the capacitor, I mean, you don't need this one, obviously. It works fine without any capacitor. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm still available. I will go back with more when I have getting this thing to work. But yeah, thanks, and see you later.